Jesus first encountered James and John, sons of Zebedee, as he was walking along the Sea of Galilee. They were mending nets early one morning in their boat. Immediately he called them, and they left their father Zebedee in the boat with hired men and followed him. Jesus called them to follow him early in his ministry, and now his earthly time is rapidly coming to a close. Jesus has told them for the third time what is to happen to him, each time giving a little bit more detail. The first time, Peter rebukes Jesus. The second time, the group wonders who is the greatest and changes the subject when Jesus inquires what they are arguing about. And now James and John ask for position. The disciples still do not comprehend what is being said. Jesus speaks of trials, suffering, and death, but they fail to hear. The unfolding of the story Jesus tells them is one of humility, sacrifice, and suffering. They don't understand. And perhaps we do not fully comprehend either. So they ask, "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you." "What is it you want me to do for you?" "Grant us to sit one at your right hand and one at your left in your glory." They are seeking power and glory and position, as is understood by the world. Yet Jesus' glory is to be fulfilled, made perfect, in suffering. His being broken open and poured out is the moment of his sanctification, of his glory. Jesus responds, "You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink, or to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?" The baptism the disciples know and understand is John's baptism by water, and the cup they have experienced so far is filled with sweet wine of table fellowship. The baptism and cup Jesus is speaking of are different. This baptism, cup, and glory are nothing the disciples and the world have ever experienced. They are more incredible and costly than can be imagined. James and John readily respond, "We are able." They do not understand what it all means or what will be required of them. I can imagine Jesus saying, "James, John, it will be enough if you can manage to live this life in a spirit of trust, a spirit of love, serving others with open hearts in the face of disbelief and persecution. It's going to take every ounce of strength you have. Do not worry, my friends. You will go where I go." In the end, James and John did experience the baptism and drink from the cup which Jesus drank. A cup, a baptism of persecution, and the cup of suffering. James was the first disciple to be martyred by being beheaded in Rome. John lived the longest. He was imprisoned and died on the island of Patmos. Yet it is two bandits, the least likely, who are at Jesus' right and left hand as he comes into his glory. Two men who didn't know him, hadn't followed him. They were chosen by God to be present at his right and his left. One who taunted and belittled Jesus, the other who recognized and sought redemption from Jesus. Both suffer with Jesus on their own crosses. They are not sitting on thrones. The journey with Jesus never fails to surprise, to take us where we never even consider going. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live into ministry with Jesus? To follow him in his own day? Or do you ever wonder and wrestle with if you are living into the ministry Jesus is calling you to now? To follow Jesus is a journey of continual learning to trust God, to walk faithfully, and give generously of yourself, and work together to build up the kingdom of God. James and John gave it all. In the end, they lived into their desire through following Jesus, putting God to the test by offering more of oneself and one's life than is thought possible, is becoming broken bread and poured out wine. I leave you with this quote from Thomas Merton. You do not need to know precisely what is happening or exactly where it is all going. What you need is to recognize the possibilities and challenges offered by the present moment and to embrace them with courage, faith, and hope. Our world today is filled with many new challenges and possibilities. It is ripe with possibility. Together, how do we get beyond holding on to the familiar and missing the opportunity of the wonders of this time? Perhaps we simply need to trust that every perfect gift comes from God above. And there is more than enough if we share freely, if we walk together and live into the life that Jesus is calling us to.